At the Office, Cleveland's home for sports talk that never clocks out. From the latest headlines to heated debates, we're diving into everything sports. It's your hosts, Noah and Matt.
Cleveland! Welcome into The Office, the show where we talk all things sports. I'm your host, Noah, with my co-host, Matt. You can join us at The Office, too. Call or text the show at 216-260-3433. That's 216-260-3433. Feel free to tweet at me or the page. Feel free to comment on the live show wherever you are watching, and we will answer your questions as the show continues. But first, I want to say thank you again to Martinis for letting us do our first ever live show and bearing with us with some of the audio technical difficulties that we had. We're coming back on the road sooner rather than later, way better than the first time. But we appreciate the hospitality. It was a great time. Matt, I've talked enough. How are you, buddy? Good job, Matt. You were, in fact, muted.
So now that I took care of that, I'm doing wonderful. Just had a nice dinner. Excited to be here talking sports with one of my best buddies, Noah. But before we get into that, I have a question, Noah.
What's up?
Is that what I think that is on your chest area logo thing? Is that better?
That was fantastic English, Matt. I am so glad that you know the English language. And yes, it is in fact a Shedeur Sanders t-shirt, because I've made it very abundantly clear that I am planting my flag for Shedeur Sanders to be a Cleveland Brown. So I gotta put my money, get it, because it's a $sign logo, where my mouth is, and rep Shedeur, because I think he should be the pick for the Cleveland Browns as the next quarterback to hopefully lead us to the promised land. We'll see. I don't know. Why are you shaking your head, man?
I just can't believe you went out and bought a shirt of a guy that could end up on any different team yet still.
Yeah, we weren't in the best of headspaces when we made this purchasing decision, if we will leave it at that. But I thought it was good for the content nonetheless, and wear the merch and, really stick with what I'm feeling. And that is Shedeur Sanders being the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. But before we get into our topics today, I want to get something really important out of the way. And that is today's sponsor, D&D Meadery. Use code @the-office CLE for 5% off your order. Buy 2 bottles, get a shot glass. D&D Meadery is some fantastic honey wine. Mead is the actual typical name for it. Made by 2 brothers, Derek and Dominic. Matt has bought a few bottles now. He has had a good old time with it. Want to say, make sure you drink responsibly. This episode is brought to you by D&D Meadery. Go to dndmeadery.org for all of your orders. And yeah, Matt, Kirk Cousins was spotted in Northeast Ohio right before the weekend hit. I definitely wasn't going to do like a jump on live stream. I was wore out after that live show, but let's talk about it today. Here is Kirk Cousins at City Barbecue. What was your reaction when all these pictures started floating around the internet and all the talking heads started talking about Kirk Cousins being in Cleveland?
When they first started floating around, I really thought we were, an hour and a half, 2 hours away from, a breaking news trade announcement, because at that point, the timing made sense with the league year bonuses and all that kind of stuff. It would have happened around then. So really my initial reaction was, we traded for Kirk. He's in Cleveland meeting everybody. Clearly here we are a few days later. That didn't quite happen. What did you think, Noah?
I thought it was interesting. I knew as soon as I saw that the picture was actually a legit picture, not one of those stupid ones like, I saw Jadeveon Clowney at Cleveland Hopkins Airport. You know that meme that goes around every time that a potential name is rumored to be in Cleveland. I knew it was going to be crazy. I thought potentially it was going to be a nothing burger like it ended up kind of being. only because of the fact that technically that would be considered tampering and the Browns would get in trouble. Now, Kirk Cousins does have a history of tampering. He got the Falcons in trouble for tampering this time last year. But I really think this was more of a media play per se. Kirk Cousins does some weird shit, for a lack of a better term, when it comes to the offseason and trying to maneuver himself in the best position possible to make money and to start in the league. So, going to get Chipotle and getting his favorite salad with double chicken, and then going over to a barbecue restaurant to pick up some ribs for his wife or whatever the hell he was doing. As a media play, when you're making Kirk Cousins money, because he's making a boatload right now and just got handed a $10 million roster bonus check. I think it's more of a play from Kirk Cousins' camp. I've definitely seen some conspiracy theories out there. Matt, there was one about Cleveland Clinic that I saw that makes me laugh, because if you know anything, Matt, tell the people who the hospital sponsor of the Cleveland Browns are.
It is not the Cleveland Clinic, I can tell you that much.
It is university hospitals. Their logos are literally decked out everywhere. Their doctors work with the Cleveland Browns. If you're in the area, you know this. If you are a university hospital patient, you might rub shoulders with the doctor that actually works with some of the Browns. Shout out my uncle, because he has. I'm not a university hospital patient. Not that you guys need to know that, but I just thought it was funny because there's a Cleveland Clinic branch over by where this city barbecue is and over by where this Chipotle was. And all of a sudden, he was getting a physical done and getting checked. So the Browns knew what was going on with his Achilles and the shoulder and this, that, and the other. I think this is going to turn into a nothing burger. Matt, Barry and Stefanski had a couple press conferences today. Why don't you give them the gist of what happened at those press conferences in terms of the not Kevin Stefanski, Kirk Cousins, trade rumors and fiasco?
I think really the big thing that applies to the Kirk Cousins scenario to come out of those press conferences is there's kind of the shared viewpoint from the two heads there of the quarterback room this year is going to skew younger. It's going to be some younger guys. Probably means we're not going to sign a 30-something-year-old vet or trade for.
No, I'm with you. I think Kirk Cousins, in theory, was an idea that they had to bring in there. But now, with the fiasco of him saying he doesn't want to play somewhere where there's a rookie quarterback so he doesn't get benched, and the fiasco of what money could be involved, because the Atlanta Falcons are really trying to make sure they don't eat all of this contract if they trade Kirk. I just don't think it makes sense in terms of the greater scheme and plans of the Cleveland Browns. That is to note, and we're going to talk more probably about the Jimmy Haslam press conference that happened today at the owners' meetings on Wednesday's show. But Jimmy Haslam mentioned a guy, and Matt, I'm throwing this as a curveball right now, I'm sorry, that we all know and love, who is an older veteran, Joe Flacco. Jimmy Haslam mentioned Joe Flacco maybe being a potential fit, and this is the first time I think that name has been brought up around the Cleveland Browns outside of like a Mary Kay. Hey, he's on the radar, maybe. I think if they're going veteran option, bring in one guy so you think he'd compete with a rookie, Kenny Pickett, and a vet. Joe Flacco might be that guy just because of his previous experience with the team. What do you think about that, Matt?
I definitely think it would be interesting. I think I'm big on, a rookie quarterback needs to get his confidence built. First things first, it's a hard league to play in. Talent doesn't matter if you don't ever get your confidence built. And you and I both know, as well as anybody that watches the show knows, Cleveland fans can be especially brutal because we haven't seen winning in a long time and we want it. So the first thing that goes wrong, it gets aggressive, I would say. And my only concern with...
Go ahead. My bad.
I would personally love Joe Flacco for what he came in here and, did for us for a handful of weeks. I thought it was awesome. I think he would be a great backup / fight for the starting spot guy, depending on how the next couple of weeks go. My only concern is, how bad is that going to hurt a rookie on the first 3rd and 10 he misses? And everybody's like, oh, give me Flacco Mania back immediately.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm giving the Cleveland fan base a little bit too much credit right now because I've definitely gotten myself in some of those tizzies where you're overreacting and underreacting and here, there, and everywhere. But you got to look at Joe Flacco face value at this point. He's a 40, about to be 41-year-old quarterback. I believe those ages are correct. He might be 41 already for all I know. And yes, it was a great time, but you would be bringing him in here with the thought process of him being a mentor and a bridge at the same time, like kind of like Jacoby Brissett was with Drake May last year, where he has thrived in this style of offense, obviously under the same coach and the same orange and brown colors, but it's not his overarching goal to be the starting quarterback forever because his career is dwindling down. Now, does that mean he ends up starting all of 2025 and Shador or Cam or Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, whoever out of all these quarterbacks that have visited and done private workouts with the Browns, whoever that may be, sure. But I think I've said this multiple times on our specific Monday show that I think Joe Flacco is the best fit as a veteran bridge because he's not going to cost anything. He's done it before and he can teach. And it's not like it's his job to lose right away because if you're taking a rookie quarterback and you have Joe Flacco, you have plenty of time to let that rookie figure out what the hell he wants to do. Lillian Olson brings up, shout out my grandma. Lillian Olson brings up Dak Prescott, the rumor that went around last week. And we talked a little bit about this on the live show, but I'm going to rehash it just because of all the audio issues. You saw this rumor, right, Matt?
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of the Dak Prescott rumors that swirled up last week for the Cleveland Browns?
I think it was actually funny. The first time I really saw anything about this, I think it was a DraftKings Instagram post, and the caption on it was "Who says no?" And I opened the comments, not sure exactly what I was expecting, but 90% of the comments I can't repeat on this show, basically saying whoever made this post is on drugs. Both sides say no. I never believed it. I mean, even if you look at it, both quarterbacks have no trade clauses. It doesn't really make sense for either team. I just thought it was silly all the way around.
I thought it was silly as well, too. It comes from, I forget his name for Big Play. He's longtime radio, longtime announcer in the Cleveland market. It's just slipping my name right now because I wasn't expecting to bring it up again on the show. I think it was more of I don't even want to call it a clickbait type of thing because if he heard from a source that might be happening, we are in NFL silly season right now, and it could have just been some of the smoke and mirrors BS that these teams throw around leading up to the draft to maybe entice more capital. I don't know how that plays into getting more or less or in between capital for the second overall pick or any of the other ones, but who knows? I think it's a nothing burger of a story. It doesn't make sense cap-wise. I don't think he's a great fit here. I don't think he moves the needle for us much, if any. We'd win more games. We'd definitely be a wild card team at least, but I don't think it pushes you over the hump any more than going for a rookie or even having a veteran like Flacco or a veteran. I don't want to say Wentz because I don't want Wentz. Wentz, break out a little bit and have his moment. You know what I mean? Because we've seen it before in this offense. Matt, what else are you thinking in terms of Kirk in Cleveland? The theories were running wild all over Twitter of why he was here. And, he could have been maybe meeting with a guy 3 guys down because Stefanski, Barry, Haslam weren't here. Do you think, I know you kind of said no, but is there any percentage chance that he was actually give me a percentage chance of what you thought if Kirk Cousins met with the Browns on what was it, Thursday or Friday of last week?
At first I figured it was a good 50% shot that he's in Cleveland, Ohio. there's too much smoke there for him to not at least have met with us. But then once I found out, and you threw that tidbit out there a second ago of the top three were all out of town meeting with other quarterbacks and doing pre-draft work, I dropped it to a big old 0. I mean, there's almost no way he would meet with, somebody that far down, that close to, the unofficial trade deadline for when the Falcons had to get him moved. It would have had to been, an elite level meeting. But that's just how I felt. What did you think?
Yeah, it just logistically, it makes no sense at the end of the day. I'm not going to continue to rehash this. It just doesn't make sense with the tampering window. It doesn't make sense with everything that's going on, all of the signs. You had reporters from all ends that had nothing to do with the Cleveland Browns. I saw a post that he might have some family here. I couldn't verify that via Google or any AI search bot, any of that. I've tried every angle. So I think my best theory is what I said at the beginning of this segment, that he was trying to rally up some social media controversy to get some more name hype generated to Kirk Cousins to Cleveland, but I don't think it ultimately is amounting to anything, at least at this current time. Now, will they trade for him later, or if he gets cut, will they sign him? Who knows? But it's not that time right now. We are, 26, 24 days away from the NFL draft? Something like that. It's getting crazy. It's getting close. Be on the lookout. We're going to do a live show during the NFL draft, hanging out, talking Cleveland Browns, talking the NFL draft, having a couple brews. More on that to come later. Matt, anything else you want to say before we go to ad break?
Re-sign Nick Chubb, but that's all I have for the Browns.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll be back at the office talking all things Cleveland sports after a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Talking some guards ball. And we are back at the office talking all things Cleveland sports. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the download button if you're listening to the audio only version of the show. Make sure you hit the follow anywhere at the Office CLE. That's @ the Office CLE. Shout out fans for Sports Network for everything they do in supporting what we have going on. And lastly, get you some merch. You got to see plenty of the merch on the live show. We were all decked out in clothing. Me and Matt got our mugs today because I got to rep my boy Shador Sanders on the show. Shador at 2, send it. Or Shador slides and we trade for him or trade up for him. Regardless, Matt, I know this is kind of a nothing burger segment, but it's not at the same time. Jose Ramirez sprained his wrist the second game of the regular season. He's back in the lineup tonight. Are you concerned about it at all? Because I have some a little bit of hesitation, but go ahead.
I'm not really all that concerned. I mean, it looked like a no fun injury, that's for sure. I'm sure he's going to be sore for a week or two. It's never good to start your season on that note. But in terms of his play, I'm really not worried. I mean, it's his first injury since June of 2022. I don't have much to be concerned about at all with it.
It just scares me because sprains are some of those nagging type of injuries that you see bother a player for just a little bit longer or throughout a season or that kind of thing. Him being back in the lineup today makes me feel much better about it, that he didn't have to sit out a week and it was just something minor. But because it's a sprain and how often MLB players play baseball, it makes me a little bit nervous that it's going to be something that nags at him in a year where I think this team looks as good as, if not better. I know it's a small sample size, and we'll get into small sample sizes here in a second, than they did last year. They look great. The hitting, Matt, I know you want to touch on the hitting, coach. You've been joking about it all day, so I'm going to let you open the floor with that in a second. But the hitting has been much better. The plate discipline has been so much better. Offensively, I think this team has what it takes. Defensively, I think the fielding is still fantastic, and pitching is well on its way. Go ahead about the hitting, coach, though.
I honestly am very shocked that I have had the floor opened up to me by Noah on this topic. I honestly am just very impressed with the way a lot of our guys are taking their approaches at the plate. It seems like every at bat is, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. That's the way they're coming into it. They're taking them very serious. And it's almost light and day to me from last year. And I know, we've talked about the coaching changes that the Guardians have made coming into this season. And I mean, I just think it's really impressive to see. Noah mentioned it a minute ago, but we're 3 games into the season. But some of the approaches we're seeing and some of the results we're seeing even are a big step up from what we had last year. And that can lead to a very fun offensive year for us, I think.
Excuse me if I butcher his last name, but Chris Valakaya? Anyway, the old Guardians hitting coach that was removed from his position and is now down in that team that plays in Kentucky's system with his old friend Tito, who is a traitor to me as well. I love Tito. I will never talk bad about Tito, but I gotta give it some nudge just because is the old batting coach, and I am very glad he's gone because of one thing. And I gotta ask you the question: is Kyle Manzardo breaking out before our eyes? How do you feel about Manzardo? He has had a hot start to his 2025, all 4 or 5 games, 3 games, 3 games of it. His current stat line, batting average of 455. I know it doesn't matter. 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, OPS of 1.844. Do you think this is Zardo's year to go absolutely yardo and get a 30 home run season?
I mean, he's clearly the MVP. You might as well wrap it up, ship it to his house, fit it into his trophy case now, get it in place already. Put a cloth over it if you really have to. Wait till the end of the year, whatever. But, we might as well get it fitted. He's clearly going to be the MVP. He's the most dominant player in baseball. He's showing no signs of slowing down. There's no reason he doesn't break every record in the record book this year.
So now that you got the homer take out of the way, how do you actually feel about Kyle Manzardo? Do you think this is a year that we're going to see him blossom into the power hitter that he can be? Or do you think we're going to see some up and down, first full year in the majors?
I think as with any Cleveland player, he's definitely going to have, that 1 or 2 week run where everybody wants him sent back down to Columbus, cut him, trade him, whatever, as Cleveland sports fans do. But on the other end of that, I think he'll be playing in the All-Star game this year. I mean, the signs he's put on the field have been all solid.
So after 4 games, you are prepared to plant the flag of Kyle Manzardo All-Star appearance?
Yes.
Without a doubt in your mind?
Book it.
Okay. You are feeling very optimistic today, and I feel like I have to be your foil character now and not be optimistic because I love Kyle Manzardo. I think he's going to have a fantastic season. I think we all have to also temper our expectations, Matt, because it's been 4 games, 3 games. This is the 4th game tonight, and he's not in the lineup, which is stupid, by the way. They put Jonathan Rodriguez as DH. I know it's a left-handed batter, and Manzardo's technically better against right, but both of his home runs came off a lefty in Kansas City. I think Manzardo has earned the right in 3 games to be an everyday starter on this team. And if that doesn't start happening, everybody gets a break. I get it. It's a 162 game season, but if he's going to do some of this platooning, I think the fan base is going to be really upset pretty quickly because he looks legit, man. He looks like everything is advertised. People were pissed when we traded for him, but he looks everything is advertised, right, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the change in hitting coach obviously has done him well as some other guys.
Bo Naylor.
Every guy on the lineup, but
Bo Naylor. Bo Naylor
Just
All-Star season, book it. I'll plant my flag there. For those who are maybe first-time listeners of the show, I have a big Bo Naylor fandom that has been a running joke between me, Matt, John, and Erik. So this is the year of Bo Naylor's power hitting breakout, 30 home run season incoming. Book it. Anyway, go ahead. Answer my question. I'm sorry. He does look legit, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And I think we've made the right changes around not only him, but our entire roster to kind of maximize what we're good at and let us play to our strengths, let us play some guard ball effectively.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to, as long as this keeps up, obviously, I don't know if anybody has mentioned it yet or if you guys have heard, but we're 3 games into the season, so none of this matters. But if they can keep up what we're doing, obviously, it's always a streaky team in Cleveland. We're going to have ups, we're going to have downs, but I think the big thing, and I know I've talked about it a lot, is the approaches we're seeing out of everybody top to bottom kind of points us in the direction of everything looks solid this year.
100%. And it's only going to get better with the pitchers coming back. John Means, obviously, our boy Shane Bieber. So we'll continue to watch. I'm excited to watch them play the Padres here in about 15 minutes on Spectrum, because they are, in fact, on Spectrum. They announced the TV deals very last minute on Thursday, which is fine because everybody gets to watch Guards ball. And I'm overall excited about it. Matt, you got anything Guardians you want to hit on, even if it's a random thought real quick before we move on to final thoughts and hot takes?
The one thing of interest I have is in tonight's game, starting here in about 10 minutes. I think, who's the starter tonight? It's the guy we traded for, right?
Yeah, it's Luis Ortiz, who had an 11 ERA in spring ball. So I'm excited. I don't know if excited's the right word, but I'm intrigued to see what he looks like in his first official start in the blue, white, and red. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to hit on it's his first start. Guy we made a trade for, obviously. Had a rough spring, as Noah mentioned, but I think he's my player to watch tonight, if we had that kind of segment here. But Noah definitely put it right. I'm intrigued, not excited, though.
I'm excited to see what happens with Jose. I think he's going to get his first hit tonight. If all things check out, which obviously I don't think they'd be playing him if his wrist was that much of a concern. Jose is the GOAT of Cleveland in my eyes. He is my number one athlete. Well, Donovan too. We'll have that debate on another day. Matt, in replace of final thoughts and hot takes, me and you are both, fitted hat people. We enjoy us a nice baseball cap, a nice fitted Browns hat, what have you. And the Browns draft hat came out last week, and it had Twitter, it had X, it had Facebook, it had any social media platform, you name it, in an uproar because of the design. And I think we kind of became aligned on this. So I'm going to pull up the design for those who are watching the video version. Here is all 3 of the designs, or technically all 2. One has a pin, one doesn't. Of the the Browns draft cap. I don't hate it. I think it looks good. I don't get why people hate it. What do you think of it, Matt?
I like them. I think they're, pretty well done, especially when you consider like some of the official hats, the ones that are officially recognized by the NFL. Like I'm sure you don't have it on quick pull up, but the plaid hat we talked about on this show.
The plaid hat of last season, it was a meme throughout the football community. I get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea. It leans into some of the tropes that are popular right now. The captain's hat, the rope hat kind of vibe and the pins. Pins have been really popular on fitteds as of late as well. But I think it's a good looking hat compared to some of the stuff that they have served us on a platter as the official hats of the NFL. I agree with you, Matt. What else are you thinking about this hat? We don't have to go super deep into a hat. It's a hat, but.
And I also I like in general, this is the first year I'm aware of that they've, put the pin on the fitteds this year. I think that's cool, period. And then they went and made ours the guitar. That's sick.
Yeah, I think it's a good looking hat through and through. I'll probably get it when it goes on sale though, because they always go on sale because they make a bazillion of them. But yeah, I can't wait to see Shador Sanders walk across the stage. Okay, I'm done leaning into the trope. Um, you know, aside from Shador, I just want the Browns to do what they think is best, whether their guy is Abdul and Jackson Dart, Travis Hunter and Jalen Milrow. I just want to see them do the best. So all jokes aside, yes, my flag is planted. I think Shador is the best fit. But I'm not going to continue to beat a dead horse. Matt, you got anything else you want to say to the people before we take this show home? You got to say something. You can't shake your head and make me keep talking.
You know what? I do want to circle back to something that's not really part of the show, but I'm excited. Tomorrow I'm going to pick up my meat order from D&D Meadery, try out some of the new flavors they released. I'm excited.
What flavors did you get? What flavors did you get?
That, is a great question I should be ready for. I'm a very impulsive buyer, so I saw new flavors and I went click, 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 click. I'll take some of those. I don't remember, but I'm going to try them tomorrow and I'll let you know.
Next week on Monday, here live at the office. Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure talking sports with you, as it always is here at the office. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you subscribe, hit the follow button on all of our pages. It helps us grow the brand and the show a ton. We really appreciate the support, everybody coming in, talking with us. We appreciated the support of people showing out and showing up at Martini's last week. Matt, like I said, it's been a pleasure. And until next time, Cleveland, make sure you stay up, stay blessed, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.